Yeah, you know, I hear a lot of these flim flam, fake slam.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
You made me feel special.
There you go. Well, thank
you for having me.
Oh, man, we're excited to have you. We're excited to have you. For those of y'all that don't know, Bishop Lamont is one of the crown jewels of SoCal when it comes to hip-hop.
Oh, you're too kind. Oh.
Out of Carson, right?
Carson
straight
represent.
up out of Carson. So how many lumpias have you eaten in your time? Yeah, I mean, Carson, man, that's like little Filipino town.
Exactly. You already know how me and Rhett roll.
Hey, Rhetmatic.
Shouts out to Rhetmatic.
Hey.
That's I can't even count. We that's how we get down. That's how we get down.
Mountains.
Shouts out to all my Filipinos. You know what time it is.
Hey.
Lumpia time.
Filipino time.
Filipino
Exactly.
time.
You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. When I explain to some of my friends who talk about CP time, that's
Right.
the same thing as Filipino time.
That is true.
We kind of link up on that same wavelength. But
We
yeah.
are in the struggle together.
we are. So forgive us. But yeah, Bishop Lamont, man. So you've been rapping for a while now.
Many moons.
Many moons.
Many moons.
Many moons. Now, really, like, how did you get your start? Because we kind of know a little bit of your background, but as a kid growing up in Carson, how did you get your start in music?
Well, what happened was, actually the journey started a little bit earlier before I actually came to Carson. I'm not originally a native of Carson, but I took up the flag for representing Carson on the hip hop side.
All right.
Once I transferred to Curtis, I think it was middle school. But shouts out to Curtis Middle School, Carson High. But it started in Compton, actually. See, that's what most people don't know. I was growing up also. You know, when you come from a divorce situation, when parents, you move around a lot. You know what I mean? So that was my gift. That was the positive out of that. But I started rapping. I had to be, 11, 10.
Dang.
Like my brother, shouts out to my big bro Mike. He introduced me to hip hop. If it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have me here rapping and doing this. He made me love hip hop because he was the one that brought it into the house when it was, Forsaken, because all the cuss words in the Too Short album or in NWA. You know what I mean? So I heard him playing it. I saw what it made the little girls do when they heard the bad words Too Short would say, and then I liked it. I wanted, ew, you know what I mean? I like what that was all about. So yeah, since I was like 10 or 11, and then I found myself just wanting to be a part of the culture completely. You know, it wasn't even a conscious thing. It's just what I wanted to start doing. So it was like, okay, you see breaking or you see electric boogaloo, and now I want to break dance. So, I'm in the house trying to spin on the carpet on my head, and it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? So you figure, okay, I got to get cardboard. Okay, it's all about shell toes. You know what I mean? So I just kept going into the culture. Wow, now I got to be a DJ. You know what I mean? So start messing up mom's records, scratching them up. You know what I mean? So
For the art.
Every aspect of the culture I wanted to be in. I was never good at graffiti, but we tried to tag stuff up and, do that. And then it was the only thing left for the elements for me was to pick up the mic. So that's yeah. And, like I found something earlier. I posted on Instagram. I was cleaning up. I was doing a domestic thing at the house. And I found this old call time sheet for a Busta Rhymes video from 97.
I saw that.
And I was just out of high school. I was like 17, and it was actually on my birthday, and I was a production assistant.
Wow.
So I wanted to learn the business from every aspect. So I've been in it even longer than I realized, but it was just to go, damn, like I really wanted to do this. And subconsciously, consciously, I made the commitment that this was going to be my life.
Boom. That's
Long
dope.
answer. Forgive me.
No, that's a beautiful answer.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for your brother bringing hip hop into the household, what would you be listening to right now?
Just soul music, rock, heavy metal, jazz, classical. I think I wouldn't have had the edgy, conscious, radical aspect of it if it wasn't for the hip hop, because then I wouldn't have the Public Enemy. I wouldn't have what Public Enemy and NWA gave me when it came to knowledge of self and everything that was going on, from what the Panthers were to what the Nation of Islam was to just whatever was going on politically, fight the power. I wouldn't have had that aspect of my brain activated.
Got it.
So yeah,
Interesting.
and then I'd probably be at Disney or Marvel right now, because what I did before I stopped it, I was drawing. I wanted to be like Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld. Those were my heroes, or Bart Sears, when it came to comic books, because I'm a comic book nerd.
Whoa.
So I could draw. That's what I did. And then all of a sudden, my hand it said, I don't want to illustrate. I don't want to draw anymore. I want to write rhymes. And here I am. Yeah, it's weird.
Do you think you'll ever go back to drawing and art?
That's a great question because I want to make sure that I'm fulfilling everything that my spirit says, and I'm saying that to everybody out there. I don't think you're living if you deny yourself what your heart yearns for, from whatever those forms of expression are. I try to say that so much to people that I hate when I come across people who say they gave up on music because it didn't work out, so they're not doing music anymore. They're not doing whatever their craft is, and I go, then you're not really being who you are, and you're not really living. So I want people to not stop. Even if you're not signed or you're not doing gigs, make music for yourself. It's so easy to have a studio in your house. Even if you're just making the music for your people, you are doing your dream and you are fulfilling your destiny. Don't let it stand on the merits of what people try to say is success and what is you being accomplished. So I forgot what your question was, but that was.
Would you ever go back to illustration?
There you go.
That's really
there you
dope
go.
because I mean,
there you go.
Yeah.
So the point with that is, I hope so. It's just if my heart compels me to do so. But what I've never stopped doing is having my comic book collection, which I adore and I enjoy. You know what I mean? And I go back through it, and maybe something will trigger. We need to go and get an easel again and get my inks and get everything that I used to do. But right now I'm committed and devoted blindly to creating music and raising consciousness as far as my voice can reach and the music can reach, and being a servant to the people. You know what I'm saying? For the people, by the people. That's where it's at right now.
Why are you holding yourself back from sharing your blessing? Because then it becomes a curse because you're not, So it kind of reminded me of that, and I love that message. It's really important to the people, man.
Anybody out there within ear's reach, do whatever you love. Don't let people say, "Oh, you never make it," or "You didn't make it, so you shouldn't be doing it." If that's what your soul is demanding you to do, do it. Whatever,
share your blessings.
Whatever measurement of it. I don't care if it's just a little bit. If you're just freestyling, if you're just writing poetry for yourself, if you're writing a script for yourself, if you're just painting, if you're just doodling, give your heart what it wants.
Exactly.
Or what are you living for?
You got to feed that part of your soul.
Or why are you living?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Message.
Message. And I mean, that really holds true for you as a musician because you were once signed and now you're independent. You've been independent for a few years.
Yes.
Tell me how it feels. What is the difference between when you were signed and now as an independent artist?
They're like you said, a gift and a curse. When you sign the majors, people think that is the end-all, be-all. But there's another level of grind and responsibility in politics that you can't even fathom, because now it's not about you just in the streets trying to, at that time back then, that was before 2005 when I signed to Aftermath. Let me try to get clear because it's many moons ago. Back then, you had to press up your own vinyl. Back then, you had to press up your own CDs. Now it's internet-driven completely. Back then, the only thing popping was MySpace. There was still the thing of trying to figure out how this MP3 thing would work and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, there was a lot more work that you'd have to do. You didn't really have access to home studios, so you had to earn money to go to studios to make your music. So it was always a hustle. It was hard. So what you're understanding in those politics, but it's still on your own. You had freedom, though. I want to go make this jam. I'm going to give it my boy that produces. I'm going to give it my boy that sings. I'm going to give it my boy that plays bass. Whatever that was the gumbo for making it at your own will. Now, once you get to a label, the labels are really corporations. And they're all about the bottom line, which is the dollar. They don't care about your art. So here you are with A&Rs, and remember, most artists, when they start, are purposely put in the red. See, this is the gift that I learned. When you get your advance, okay, there's going to be interest on that advance, how it works for you. That's not free money. You got to pay that back. That's just here. This is going to hold you while we try to make you whatever character we want to make you. Maintain.
Develop that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the same time, when we start setting up promotion and marketing campaigns and the money that's being spent in studios and for the A&R to fly around or fly you around, all that stuff is accumulating, right? So there's already strikes happening because most artists are just so caught up in, now I'm here and I've made it, they're not realizing the money that's being stacked against them. The labels never want you to be in the black. That's not how we make money. If you break clean or above, they're in trouble because they can't hold you and you got more freedom. Okay, there it is with that. Now we have to attach whatever prices, well, not prices, what do you call it, merchandise. Okay, if we want to do this thing with Sprite, we want to do this thing with so-and-so, we want to do this thing with Taco Bell, you have to make the kind of song that'll work with this Taco Bell campaign, even if that's not what you want to do.
Right.
So you have to make a certain kind of song that we can work through Clear Channel or Radio 1, whatever the situation is. But understand that all roads still lead to Rome, so there's conditions of what has to happen. So now what a label signs you for you really being vocal and creative and emotional and just passionate about everything you do, they go, no, that's not what we want. We want you to sound like this because this works.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So now here it is for the artist where it's like, wait, my hands are now tied. I thought I would have more freedom here and be put on a bigger platform. You are, but you're put on a bigger platform with invisible chains. And there are circumstances and things that you have to do. Now, most artists are not going to sit here on a world stage and say, I'm a puppet, or I'm restricted in a lot of ways, and I get my teeth kicked in at certain points, and how this works for me to look like I'm in power and I'm living this life that we lie to you about in videos, but it's not. So that long answer comes back to how beautiful it feels to be free to make the choices of, I'm going to make this kind of song right now. Yeah. I'm going to call this person up, and we're going to do this kind of song, and we're going to shoot this kind of video. You know what I mean? This is the content that I want to make, and I don't have to go sit in a meeting and try to convince 5 or 6 people that have no idea what's really going on in the inner cities or what's really going on in life because they're detached from it. That's not their life, so they don't have any passion or connection to what you're going through. That's not always the case, but when you get to higher levels, there's always going to be people at these labels that fight for you because they fought for me at Interscope, at Aftermath. So shout outs to all the old regime because we still roll, a lot of us, but those are lessons that I learned. It doesn't matter about being on the biggest label and this and this and that. The politics get that much more severe. You know what I'm saying? So you stressed out. And then they start making you question yourself. When you turn in songs, they're like, I don't know about that. Like, that hook's not catchy enough. Can you talk about so-and-so? Can you put this in there? I don't know about that beat. We need this kind of beat. Yeah. That's why everything is a trap beat. Because that's what's working. Hey, look, we've got to fit in 15 minutes of this. And then here comes our commercials. People forget when they really listen to the radio what it really is. Right. It's something to keep your attention so then we can sell you products. Yeah. Now, this is what has to go into the cookie cutter format. If you're not doing that, we don't want to hear that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And since we want you to be zombies, we don't want the frequencies to be something that gives you awareness and makes you conscious. We want to lull you to death. We want to lull you to sleep so you can just be like, yeah, I'm going to buy that. I am hungry right now. I want that burger. I do want that sweater. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so what it's for. And they beat it into your brain. So then we have all these amazing artists that need to give people healing vibrations. Like I see you got Marvin Gaye sitting here. You got Michael Jackson. Like, look at what those albums did then and what they're doing for us right now in real time. And they were all conscious. They were all conscious at the same time. You could groove to this in the club. You could move to this. Whatever it was, it bumped. But at the same time, Marvin Gaye was like, what's going on? This dude was like, man in the mirror. Yes. Like, keep going. But it was always in the people. It was always healing. It was always giving you what you needed for your souls. I call it soul protein. So that's the difference. Now being free, it's a lot more hard work, but it's worth it because me and my guy Caps, we're doing everything ourselves. And it's for the people, by the people. We only have us to blame if we fail. And we're not going to fail.
Boom.
Long answer again. I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect.
I'm sorry, you guys listening. My passion is real.
You know, for everybody out there that's an aspiring rapper or they don't know what route to go after, whether it's to stay indie or to try to get signed.
Stay indie.
I think you shed a lot of light.
If you're lazy, then try to sign to a major and let them run you and own you. If you are about your thing and you want to be empowered and live your life, be indie. You know what I'm saying? You've been poor longer than you would be rich. So don't worry about that. The money comes as long as the quality of the product is there. The people are going to come see you regardless. I live this by truth of what I've experienced. Don't worry about that. Don't let them dangle these carrots in front of your face. Don't do that. Message!
You know what? Let's go ahead and continue on with the message. I know that the Reformation is coming out very soon.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a lot about that right after this music break, but I actually want to tease our listeners with one of the songs off of your album.
Thank you.
Called Un-American.
Ooh, with Ryu and Apathy. Shouts out to my crackers. These my white boys are crazy.
Ill, man.
Yeah.
Demigods. Yeah. They're so dope. So actually, would you mind actually introducing that song?
Excuse me. This is Un-American featuring Ryu and Apathy, produced by Paul Cabot.
My country is of the sweet land of misery. Donald Trump and his trickery. Fox's toxicity. Warmongering fuckboys crisscrossing the continent begging for votes.